Today I'm using a speaker again and a monitor again because I think it's better. Anyways, without further ado, let's just dive right into the video. Oops.
I told my mom I was going.
Oh my god, that is so loud. For me, I don't know for you, but it's so loud. Speakers make it so loud.
To my friends to work on a school project, and she insisted on driving me. The plan was she'd drop me and drive off, and I'd sneak out of my friend's back door and run across her yard to the nearby park. After making out with Jamie, I'd run back to my friends, and my mom was none the wiser. Except that one night when everything went wrong. We were kissing under our favorite tree that was totally hidden from view.
Why do you have to keep it a secret? Like, why can't you just tell your mom you're actually dating him?
Voice came out of nowhere. My mom's voice. "Hey, you two, what do you think you're doing?" I froze.
Why is your mom so mad about that? Like, why can't you do it?
Quite literally, the worst thing that could ever happen to me. We had to get out of there. Jamie is a bit of a ninja, so climbed up into the tree, leaving me
Wait, is Jamie a girl? Oh my god, I'm so confused.
there all alone. And then I just bolted. Now, my mom knew what I'd been up to. She'd make my life a living hell. I didn't know where I was running to. I just knew I couldn't go home. Before I continue, don't forget to like and subscribe to My Story Animated for more epic stories, just like my story. I was running so fast, I thought I was going to pass out. I couldn't get her face out of my mind. She looked so disgusted and disappointed in me. I'd never live this down. Suddenly, I got a message from Jamie saying, "Go to the school. I'll meet you there. The music room will be open." Jamie's dad was the school janitor, so this was perfect. The door was unlocked, so I slipped right in. But I almost screamed when I accidentally knocked some tambourines over. This was way too risky. I text Jamie saying hurry up, but the security alarm started going off. How could
Jamie, come on. I'm mad at Jamie. Why, Jamie?
be so dumb? This was the worst hiding place ever. In my mind, I came up with some other ideas. I could hitchhike across the country, change my name. I would do anything to avoid having to confront my mom about this.
But what is wrong? Even if you're doing it with you're kissing a girl, like what is wrong with that?
Banging on the door, so I quickly answered it, but it wasn't Jamie. It was Brad, the local policeman, and he looked very surprised to see me. "Charlotte, I didn't think you were the type to sneak into school." Then he called my mom and said he'd found me and would bring me home right away. I begged him not to, even offering to give him my pocket money, but he just laughed and said my mom was a good woman and didn't deserve to have her daughter disrespecting her like this. Oh my God, had my mom told him about the kissing? As we pulled up to my house, my mom was standing on the porch with her arms crossed. She came running over and hugged me tightly, too tightly. Honestly,
She's just doing that in front of the police officer.
Barely breathe. And then she turned to Brad and said, "Oh, thank you for returning my baby. I was so worried about her." Okay, this was weird. Had my mom not realized it was me in the park? What was going on here? Then, just before Brad drove off, she started saying how dangerous it is out there and that she'd been out jogging and seen lots of couples kissing and getting up to all sorts of mischief. Huh? My mom was acting like such a freak. Then, the minute Brad left and we got inside, I told her I was going to bed. And with one hand, she reached out and grabbed my arm, saying, "Not so fast, young lady." I turned around just in time to hear the click of the lock, and that's when I knew I was in serious trouble. She took me by the hand and dragged me
This is illegal. Why is she doing that just because of one little reason?
The lounge, and then she pulled out her phone and said, "Watch this." I couldn't believe it. It was Jamie and I making out. She filmed us. I felt sick. I told her I could explain, but she didn't want to hear it. She just started screaming that she did not raise a daughter like this. A daughter who would sneak around and lie to her. And that
Where's the dad? I'm confused. Where's the dad? I'm confuzzled. Maybe they're divorced. I don't know. They shouldn't have said they're divorced before the story, but whatever.
Circumstances, was I allowed to date someone like that? Then she said, "Look at what he's wearing. He's clearly from a bad family. No daughter of mine will sink that low." I was stunned. She was that shallow? I apologized and said it wouldn't happen again. And then I started walking upstairs. She followed me though. And just as I went to close...
I'm so sorry about this. Okay, let's just, you guys should subscribe because you see I'm the class out. See, it's cool.
She stuck her hand through the gap, grabbed my key, and before I even had time to realize what she was doing, she locked me in.
She locked you in your room? Oh my God. And what kind of room has a key though?
The moment I realized that my phone was in the hall and my mom would now see all the conversations between Jamie and I ran over to my window and looked down, wondering if I'd survive if I tried to escape. Then I felt someone watching me. My mom's eye was right at the keyhole peeking through. Then she said that I was a dumb kid to use my birth date as my phone's password. She was on my phone. No! I begged her not to look, and she just laughed and said, "Too late. I'm going to call Jamie's parents and tell them they've raised a bad boy. You will
That is mean. Like, why does she have to tell the parents?
see this boy again. Do you understand?" No, I didn't understand, and things were about to get way worse. For starters, my mom had already removed my laptop from my room before Brad had even brought me home. It was like she planned this so she could keep me as a prisoner, all because I'd been making out with someone? Give
I
me a
know.
break. The next morning, I woke up and got dressed for school. I shouted to my mom to open the door, but she didn't reply. This couldn't be happening. The next moment, I heard
Oh, come on. She has to go to school.
phone. She was talking to the school, telling them that I was suddenly unwell and I would be off for the week. I started to scream in the background, saying I was fine. And then my mom told the school she had to run because I needed her. No, I did not need her. I needed to get out of this prison. My mom had officially taken strict parenting to the next level. And all I could think about was how much I missed Jamie. We hadn't spent an
It doesn't matter about Jamie. You're locked in your own room. Why are you so worried about Jamie?
in weeks, and we texted nonstop. I felt like I was going to die in there, and Jamie wouldn't even know. After school, Jamie usually walked by with Pluto, their family dog. So I only had to wait a few hours to be rescued, or so I thought. I must have fallen asleep sometime after lunch, and then I heard something at my window. I immediately thought it was Jamie throwing stones, coming to rescue me. But when I looked over, there was a strange man looking in at me. I screamed so loudly he almost fell off his ladder, and then I noticed it. Burglar bars. He just installed burglar bars on my windows.
Okay, one question. How come this guy who's installing the burglar bars looks like a kid and looks like younger than you? How can he install burglar bars? Because he looks so young. Just saying.
Couldn't escape. I shouted at him to take them off, but he said it was too late and that my mom had said it was an emergency. I started crying, begging him to help me, and he looked quite scared. But suddenly my mom appeared and asked him to climb down. Then I could hear her telling him that I was really sick and sometimes said crazy things. Oh my God. My mom told this man I had something mentally wrong with me. This was too much. My room had become like a prison or an insane asylum. But the person who should have been locked up in here was my mom, not me. I'd done nothing
True, facts. I like her.
wrong. I even thought about bashing the door down, but then she'd probably send me to an insane asylum for real. Every night, she'd drop food at my door, and one night I tried so hard to get out before she locked me back in, but she was too fast. Some nights I even heard her speaking to someone. I didn't even think she had any friends, so this was bizarre. Then one day, after a week, someone came to save me. It was my friend who I pretended to study with whenever I was with Jamie. She knocked on the door and my mom answered. She said she had some grapes for me and was wondering if she could come upstairs to see me. And then my heart sank. My mom told her I was really contagious, and when I heard her say that, I started shouting, "Help!" at the top of my voice. Then I heard the door slam. I hoped my friend had heard me and would call the police or something. Surely this wasn't legal what my mom was doing.
Yeah, it isn't legal, but I actually like this true story animation character. She's not insane. I actually feel bad for her.
She only released me 30 years later, like those crazy stories you hear about. I'd
But
be
you're in
old
a
and
story.
old and people would have forgotten I'd ever existed. I couldn't let that happen. I had to get out of here. I even put up a sign in my window saying help, but no one did anything. Even Jamie hadn't walked by since we'd been caught together. One day, I noticed the neighbor's kid playing in the garden. I quickly made a paper airplane and wrote about what my mom had done inside it. I managed to throw it out the window towards him, but he just stomped on it and ran off. That night it rained and my letter was destroyed. Oh man, I was doomed. I was so used to hearing my mom telling people I got sick that I actually started to believe it. I felt like I was going crazy locked up in there. And then one morning, I woke up and my mom was standing next to my bed looking down at me. I got such a fright and jumped back. The door behind her was wide open. It was too good to be true. Then she said, "Get up. There's someone here to see you." My heart started racing. Was Jamie downstairs? What would I wear?
No, Jamie's not downstairs. If Jamie was downstairs, your mom wouldn't let you go see him.
Reality kicked in. My mom had locked me up for almost 2 weeks. I turned to her and asked how she could do this, but she just pushed me towards the stairs and told me it was rude to keep my guest waiting. I ran down the stairs, but it wasn't Jamie. I mean, obviously. Instead, it was some guy I'd never seen before. He looked super dorky, and when he saw me, he leapt up and ran over to me saying, "Charlotte, my darling, it is so good to finally meet you." Whoa, who was this guy? I started backing up towards the door, but then I felt my mom's hand on my shoulders and then her creepy voice in my ear whispering, "Be nice to him. I found you a new boyfriend. You don't need to worry your little heart about your precious Jamie anymore. I broke up with him for you." At that, I almost pushed her. She just giggled and said, "Play nicely, or you'll never see your phone again." Then she walked off to the kitchen, leaving me standing there with that strange guy. I ran
Oh my god, how could your mom do this? This is not illegal. And how come the police officers are not doing anything? Police officers, you're smarter than that.
him and told him he needed to help me. I asked him if he could call the police, and he just laughed and said, "Whatever for?" So
Oh my god, you should actually, I think you should tell this guy about what happened, so maybe he can actually call the police and help you, maybe? I don't know, though. You never know book by its cover. He may be a nice guy, you know?
him that my mom was crazy and that I didn't even know who he was, and he looked surprised and said we'd been texting for a week now. He even showed me our texts, and then
Oh my god, the mom texted him and said it was her. Oh my god.
my Instagram and said it was so cute how my mom posted daily updates for everyone about my sickness. What? This was mental. I told him it wasn't me. What wasn't you? My mom said. She was still behind me. Then she apologized to the guy whose name was Jerry and said that I was still a little unwell and that my meds made me confused. Then
Okay, his name, okay, I kind of feel bad for the guy. Like, his name maybe, this guy's name may be Jerry. Like, this guy's name may be Jerry, and he may, like, look dorky, but still, he may be a nice guy. You never know a book by its cover, you know.
Said, "Shall we go?" Go where? Jerry then took my hand. Ew! Why was he touching me? And said it was time for our first date. So let me get this straight. My mom had locked me up because she caught me kissing, but now she was letting me go on a date with a stranger? This
Oh my
made
god, your mom is a sociopath. You're not a sociopath. Your mom is. I actually like this character.
sense. But maybe if I played along, I could finally get my phone back and call Jamie. Okay, let's go.
Even if she gets her, I have a question. Even if she gets her phone back, why would she call Jamie? Why doesn't she call the police if she gets her phone back? Jamie doesn't matter right now.
And then my mom
Finger is on the button.
I don't care. Oh my god, I'm so gonna get copyrighted. I hate this. I'm gonna pay for it not getting ads anymore.
grabbed us both and said she'd be chaperoning. Jerry looked kind of bummed, but not as bummed as he'd look when he found out I wasn't remotely interested in him. So the three of us went for ice cream. My mom deliberately drove us to a cafe way outside of town, probably so I wouldn't see anyone from school. Pathetic. The whole time I was planning my escape, but my mom isn't stupid. She even locked the car doors the moment we got inside. We pulled up at the cafe, and I'm surprised my mom didn't put me on a leash or something, but she still had my phone. Without it, she'd controlled me, and I hated that.
Okay, this true story animation is not getting anywhere. How is she gonna fix the problem? There's literally 4 minutes left in this true story animation. I'm just wondering how she's gonna fix this problem.
Get it back. We ordered our ice cream, and this was the moment I'd been waiting for. As my mom was paying, I grabbed her bag and started running. Everyone in the cafe thought I was some random girl mugging her. I knew my phone was in there, and that was all I cared about. I looked behind me, and there was like 2 security guards, plus my mom and Jerry chasing me. But I was fast. I made it to the bathroom just in time to lock the door before they reached me. They were all banging on the door, screaming that I was a thief. I almost laughed.
Thief? What?
I'd just been locked up for 2 weeks, and now I'd chosen to lock myself up again. I grabbed my phone and called the police station. Brad answered, and I told him that my mom had been keeping me locked up for 2 weeks. I expected him to say he'd come right away and arrest her, but he just chuckled and said my mom had told him that I'd say that. Then he asked if I was feeling better. I hung up on him.
Oh my God! The police, you are smarter than that. Come on, you actually have to check on the girl at least. Oops. Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm sorry. What did I do? Oh, okay. Okay, oh my God.
My mom had brainwashed him. Next, I tried to call Jamie, but no one answered. Then I texted, saying what my mom had done and begging for help. I wrote down where I was and I said, please come quick. I could see Jamie had read the message. Now all I had to do was wait. Meanwhile, Jerry and my mom were on the other side, and it didn't sound like they'd given up anytime soon. I felt like I was destined to be locked up forever. But then after about 10 minutes, my mom said, Charlotte, open the door. There's a girl here who needs it. She's desperate. Then the girl said, please, I'm bursting. I would have known that voice anywhere. I threw the doors open and ran into her arms. My mom looked so confused and asked if we knew each other, and I said, oh, this is Jamie. I thought you'd know that. Seeing as you've been texting her, you should have seen my mom's face. She looked like she was about to explode. She was so stunned, she basically froze, and Jamie and I started running towards Jamie's car. Then my mom screamed, get back here right now, or I'll... I interrupted her and said, or you'll what? Lock me up for 2 weeks? Oh no, wait, you already did that. By then, a huge crowd of people were watching and my mom looked mortified. My mom came running over. And by then she was crying, but I honestly didn't care. She deserved to be humiliated 1,000,000 times over for what she'd done to me. Jerry just stood in the background saying, hang on, you're a lesbian? So you aren't interested in me? Oh, Jerry, get with it, I thought. We got in the car and started to drive off, but my mom jumped onto the front of the car and said that if we drove off, she'd never speak to me again. After what she'd done, that suited me fine. I told her Jamie and I were in love and that we'd be together no matter what. And then she basically slid off the car in tears. We started to drive off and I could see her racing for her car. She was shouting, you can't do this. The whole town will talk. And I just screamed back, let them talk. Then she started driving after us.
Oh my God.
She was driving so fast, she crashed into us and both of our cars flew off the road. Luckily, none of us got hurt. As we dragged ourselves out, I saw my mom standing over us, a shard of broken glass in her hand. Her hand was bleeding, but she didn't care. She lunged for Jamie, but the police, including Brad, came and stopped her in time. A woman who'd witnessed everything told them what had happened and even showed the video, including the part where I said my mom had locked me up. My mom tried to sweet talk him, but it was too late. She was arrested for assault, and now they are investigating the fact that she locked me up. Serves her right. She made me suffer, and now it's her turn. The best part of all of this is that I get to stay with Jamie and her sister until all of this is figured out. Peace. Finally. I hope she sees the error of her ways someday.
Okay, well guys, I think that's a good spot to end for today. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this true story animation, like it, just make sure to like the video. This true story animation was really crazy and I actually really enjoyed it. So make sure you subscribe. And see you all next time. Bye!